Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Moving at Home with Move It Marion. It's Friday, it's 10 a.m., and that can only mean one thing. It's time for some Tai Chi. Welcome, we're coming to you live from the Domain Theater at the Meridian Cultural Center. It's a rainy day, but we're warm and dry inside, and as you will be at home as well. Before we get started, we just encourage you to like us, love us, comment, let us know how you're going today. Let us know how we look up here, whether we're looking good. And yes, we just love when you engage with us. Before we get started as well, we always provide you with a couple of safety tips. The first safety tip is to make sure you've got plenty of room around you in which to do your Tai Chi this morning. You'll need a couple of meters around you. Make sure there's nothing you can trip over or any lamps that you can knock over. Make sure you don't have any shoes sitting in the floor or any small children under your feet. Just make sure you've got a good, safe place to exercise. Also, we always recommend that if you haven't been active for a while, or if you have any present or past injuries, or if you have chronic conditions, that you should consult with your doctor prior to taking part in this activity. And finally, we always encourage you to exercise at your own pace, to move within your own limitations, and not to do any movements that cause you discomfort. If at any point you become tired or dizzy, not feeling well, take a break, have a drink of water, and if you're feeling better, then you can come back to the activity. That's all for me now. I'll pass it over to Master Luke, you'll be in good hands with. Enjoy your session. I'll see you after the show. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Laura. Thank you very much for joining us today. On behalf of Move It Marion and Meridian Connection Tai Chi, thank you for joining me. We will get straight into our warm-up. We will go into our fundamental relaxation exercises and we'll get into our form as quickly as possible. The plan is to try and finish off the form today, so that will be exciting. The closing is a little bit tricky. There is a few movements to it, but we will go through it. And like I've said before, it's like language, there's no pressure. We are going to make mistakes. It's a natural thing to happen. We just keep working through it and it will happen organically, naturally. One day, it'll just happen. So, first, we begin with our checklist. We're standing tall, we take our string, we connect ourselves to the ceiling or the sky, lifting ourselves up. And then we gently want to place ourselves on the ground, unlocking those knees. So we don't really need to bend those knees, but just gently unlock those knees, allowing the natural shock absorption. But then we want to create that gentle pull within. So we're just ever so slightly lifting ourselves back up again. And remember when I say that gentle pull within, think of the fishing line. So you cast the rod out, you've cast it, you don't just leave it there. You draw it in ever so slightly so that we can place our finger on the line, thus feeling any vibrations through the line. We're listening with our fingers. In this case, we are the line and we're listening with our body. From here, we transfer our weight through to our right leg. Take the time to get your balance, feel comfortable. The more comfortable and balanced you feel, the easier it's going to be to allow this step to be controlled and slow. And then we can really enjoy these transitions and micromanage that movement. From here, we're just going to gently sink those knees again, and we're rising up with the hands. And we're just grasping those chi balls. Or imagine the universe as a fabric, a gentle weave. If you don't like to clench those fists and you want to keep it nice and open and loose, then just imagine drawing in that really soft silk, covering yourself up, wrapping yourself up, ever so gently. Just naturally breathing at this point, but nice and gentle. Going to transfer to our fingers like a flower petal, ever so gently, touching, lifting. Go through a couple of times. paying attention to lead the movement with the mind. Going to roll the thumb in, fingers over. Once again, very relaxed, like the flower petal. There's very little effort. It's a reaction to the sunlight. It's loose, it's relaxed. Last one. Over and in with the little finger, over with the thumb. One more. Gently rolling the wrists. Imagine splashing that water, allowing gravity to just fall those fingers into the water, and then you're using just enough to lift back up and splash the water. Make that movement as efficient as possible. Good morning, Steph and Breda. Nice to have you here with me this morning. It's raining outside, but I think we should look at that like manna from the heavens. Like Laura said before, we are the driest state and the driest continent in the world. And we should look at this as a blessing. Couple more, and we're changing directions. Imagine drawing circles in the water, that gentle resistance. I want you to focus on keeping the shoulders down. So like the string puppet, if the string's attached to our hands or our wrists, then our elbows, our shoulders can remain relaxed. So really focus on trying to drop those shoulders. We're going to focus on the center of our palms, and we're going to come together, gently rubbing, generating that warmth. And we're going to bring our visualization into it. I want you to picture that you're in your lake, surrounded by your mountains. We're going to scoop down, scooping up that water, drawing it up and showering it over the body, feeling it run down. And we want to try and make this picture as vivid as possible. The more we believe in it, the more it's going to affect us. So as we scoop up that water, imagine the feeling of the water hitting your scalp for the first time, the muscles contracting, the water going down your spine, all the muscles contracting, off your fingertips. Create all those sensations with your mind, and the body has to follow. Couple more. Breathing in and breathing out. In and out. And do one more. Coming back in and out. Remember, letting gravity do the work. We hold the structure and let the natural forces do most of the heavy lifting. Breathing in, holding the structure, and relaxing down, letting those shoulders go. When you get to the bottom, I want you to focus on those shoulders being 100% relaxed. In life, you're only going to get short moments to relax. It's important that we take full advantage of them. Couple more. In and out. We're going to gently roll straight into our shoulder circles, up and over, in and out. And remember, it's perfectly natural to stutter, to have tension. This is a good thing. It tells us exactly where we need to focus. If you have no tension at all, then it's hard to know where you need to be focusing. So be aware of your body, feel where that tension is. Use your breath. Try and relax a little bit further. Always trying to relax a little bit more. Even if you think you're fully relaxed, keep trying to relax a little more. One more. And changing direction. Also, these movements can be as small and subtle as you like. Remember, it's not as important how small or big somebody writes. People write slightly smaller, a bit bigger. The important thing is how neat the writing is, and that everybody else can read it when that person's not around. So we have to learn to micromanage those movements. So even if you make that movement smaller, you keep the same amount of control, the same amount of micromanagement. Couple more. Last one. And relaxing down, letting go 100%. Take full advantage of that time to fully let go, because the chances are you're coming back up. So we're starting from here. I want you to imagine that string puppet idea. If the strings are attached here, then this can remain relaxed and loose. So I want you to imagine that you've got those strings there. Also, the string connecting you to the ceiling. And we're just going to be dipping that string. Point of emphasis is to actually relax the buttocks. So as we dip, relax and come back up. So all at the same time, letting go of those strings, breathing out, lifting back up. Try and do as much as you can, using as little as possible. Make your movements as efficient as you can. Couple more. Do one more. Last one. We hold up and we come down, gently working our fingers like the rain, as relaxed as possible. Very good. Relax the shoulders. Remember, we don't get that big an opportunity. Take advantage. 100% let go, because we are coming back up. This time, very similar movement, small waist turn, and we're swinging like the elephant swinging its trunk. I want you to relax, allow the momentum to do the most of the work. You simply hold the structure. Let the natural forces do the heavy lifting. You hold the structure. Breathing in and out. Once again, these movements can be as small and subtle as you like. Good morning, Val. Nice to have you here. Hope you're enjoying. Couple more. Last one, we hold up and we imagine we have a ball under each hand and we're pressing it underwater. Gently lifting ourselves up. We are going to put one hand on our hip, doing our gentle circles. So right hand, we're going to gently turn our hip, and that initiates this momentum, lifting up, across, and down. Scooping, lifting, bringing across, turning over, and pressing down. But if we keep it like that, it's quite linear. And we want to write cursive. So we just start to gently curve the edges and link the movements together. Scooping, lifting, dragging, turning, pressing. Couple more. Good morning, Benny. Nice to have you along. Hopefully we can all get some relaxation. Last one, and we're gently going to come down and we're coming back up in the other direction. The sun rising, orbiting, setting. Breathing in, breathing out. Shifting the weight to the right and across to the left. Breathing in and out. Couple more. Last one. Sun sets. And we come back to center, placing our hand on our hip and transferring to the other hand. And we gently turning that hip, initiating the movement, scooping, dragging, turning over and pressing. Remember, we can start quite linear. Hello, Lynette. Thank you for coming along today. We can turn over, press down, scoop, lift, drag, turn, press, scoop, lift, drag, turn, press. Remember, we make it cursive, so we just start to curve the edges, link the movements. What appears as several movements joins into one, where we can no longer see the beginning or the end. Do one more. And coming down and coming back the other direction, breathing in and out. Weight to the left, sun rising, weight to the right, sun setting. I want you to focus on this hand that's holding the hip. Check your shoulder. Is it relaxed? Are you holding any tension throughout your body? Scan your body and check if you're holding any tension. Use your breath. Focus on that area. And relax a little further. Couple more. Last one. Sun rises and sets. And come back to center gently. Hands down, standing up. This time, hands on the hips, once again, relaxing those shoulders. Think of a kid's action figure. They have no muscles, they have no tendons, but if you position them right, with enough structure in the joints, they will stand up. They will hold their own weight and they will be balanced. They have no muscles, they have no joints, but with just enough control, they can stand up. We want to be that action figure. Use as little of the muscles and tendons as possible. We have good structure. We hold enough control in the joints and take as much pressure off as we can. So we don't want to lift these shoulders up. We want to sink into this structure. From here, we imagine a pole down the center of our body. And we want to draw small circles around that pole with both hips moving in the same direction. So we're not twisting and drawing circles by twisting. We've got both hips moving in the same direction. Gently breathing in for half your circle and out for half. Doesn't matter where your points of breath are. But we want those breaths to be gentle and relaxed. We don't just want to micromanage the muscles, the physical muscles on the outside. We want to micromanage those muscles around the lungs, around the organs as well, internally. Take some pressure off of the organs. Changing directions. And remembering that these circles, these movements can be as small and subtle as you like. If you think of the movement as a dot to dot, how do we make that dot to dot as circular and round as possible? We place more dots. So we want as many dots of thought, as many micromanagements as we possibly can, regardless of the size of the movement. A couple more. And gently lifting back to your center, hands down. Give your arms and shoulders a little bit of a shake. Let that tension drip away. From now we'll move down to our knees. We'll quickly scoot through. So once again, quickly, we'll just start with our checklist. Always going through our checklist. We want this to bleed into everyday life as much as possible, so that when you just naturally stand, you just naturally stand in a good posture. So go through your checklist. Take your string, lift it up. Place yourself on the ground, unlocking those knees gently. And then like the fishing line, we just reel it back ever so slightly, creating that gentle internal pull, allowing us to listen. From here, we're going to transfer the weight to our right leg, slowly stepping out and enjoying that transition across. From here, we sink. Now you can either keep your hands by your side, on your belly, on your hips, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm going to place mine on my belly. And from here, we're going to transfer our weight across to our right leg. And at this point, I want you to try and get your balance. Start emptying this leg. This leg should be lifted with a string. Don't bring this leg until it's ready, until it's like that. So get your balance, get steady, allow yourself to empty this leg, then we can bring it in, then we can step out to the toes, to the heel, to the toes, and to the heel. Remember, keep it empty. It's quite a lot on this leg, but keep it empty. Lift it with that string. Place it down ever so gently. Coming back in, placing it back out. Then we get to enjoy this transition, taking the weight off of this leg, transferring it to this leg, getting our balance for a second, taking our time. It's emptying, it's empty. Lift, toes, heel, toes, heel, one more, toes, heel, gently lifting, back in and out. Now once more to the right, this time the ankles. So once again, get your balance, take your time, it's no rush. Eventually you will be able to smoothly transition. It's not going to happen right away. We don't start writing cursive. That's not how we learn. We initially start print and we get that wrong. Once we get great at that, then we start linking it together. So no pressure, take your time, it will organically become smoother. So lifting. How are you going, Lynette? Hope it's not too much on the legs. Lifting with that string. And onto the outside of the ankle. Gently lifting and settling on the inside. Outside and inside. One more. Lifting gently in, out. One more time to the other side. Get your balance. Empty this leg. Lift it with that string. Onto the ankle. Inside. Outside, inside, and outside. Gently lifting, in and out. Standing up straight. Give yourself a very good shake off. That's our warm up. So from our fingers all the way down to our toes. We'll move straight into our gentle relaxation exercises. So now that we're warm, you can feel those muscles. We can use that tension, some of that burning, to really focus on drawing our visualizations, our visual aids, to take some of the pressure off. The pain can actually really help in that regard, because you will feel something. If you take any of the pressure off, you'll feel it. So once again, standing tall. Lift yourself up. Unlock those knees. Like the fishing line, listening. Weight to our right leg. Stepping out slowly to the left and enjoying this transition back to 50-50. And we sink. Now remember our visualization. We're standing in the ocean. It's up to our shoulders. And if we want the tide, if we're visualizing that the tide is going to be doing the movement for us, then we don't want to lift our hands out of the ocean. As soon as we lift our hands out of the ocean, that's us. That's us using our muscles to do that. We want the tide to do the work. Really believe that. So draw that picture. Take yourself to your beach, your ocean. Really picture it. Nice and still. And you can feel the tide underneath the water, and it just catches the natural curve of your palms, gently lifting. And then you feel it go through, gently relaxing down as it sucks underneath through your toes and your feet. Lifting, breathing in, and lowering, breathing out. Remember to try and create all of those little sensations that go along with it. The water between the fingers, the sand as it sucks back in with the tide between your toes. But it's not just our hands, it's not just our arms. You feel the tide lift the weight off your whole body. Feel your body just rise up, taking the pressure off of your knees, off your feet, ankles. Breathing in and out. Do one more and then we'll swap to the sweep. In and out. Remember, direction doesn't matter. Coming up, transferring to the sweep. So weight to the right, sweeping to the left, turning over, breathing in. How you going, Faye? Pushing across. Transferring the weight to that right leg, pushing across to the left. Think of yourself as a coral plant on the reef, effortlessly moving with the ocean, taking what it gives. Focus on keeping those shoulders as relaxed as possible. Like the string puppet. The strings are attached to our wrists, our hands. We keep those shoulders, those elbows, as relaxed as possible. It took me a long time to realize that the real flow of Tai Chi comes from relaxing in the right places at the right time. You don't want to artificially create this flow using tension and absolute control. Relaxing at the right time, in the right place, inherently has its own flow. Couple more. Breathing in and out. We're just going to imagine that we're picking up a ball off the surface of the water and we're bringing it back to our center. And how deep do you want to get with the ball today? Just imagine it's expanding. and then contracting. I want you to imagine that you're holding the sun, just that explosion of hydrogen bursting outwards. And then the gravity pressing it back in, holding it together, binding it, fusing the hydrogen, exploding back outwards. Gravity pressing back in. And it's a constant mechanism of pushing and pulling. Good fun fact about the sun is the light that explodes from the center of the sun slowly works its way out to the surface over 10 million years. It hits the surface and then takes roughly 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach your face. The sunlight that touches your face was born in the center of the sun 10 million years ago. So by holding that sun, we're going to gently turn it over, and we imagine that we're splitting it. We have two, lifting and pressing simultaneously with no preference. I don't put more focus onto the lifting than I do the pressing. I treat them equally. When you can manage to do so, it's really going to create this gentle internal pull without ever having to overstretch. Just to imagine yourself as that tree, drawing in the nourishment from the sun to the leaves, and then drawing it down through the branches, into the trunk, into the roots, and then drawing more nourishment up through the soil. How are you feeling, Caroline, Wendy? Draw it up into your trunk, through your branches, and into the leaves. Once we're comfortable with this movement, I want you to add a new element. Think of that idea of the cyclone or the tornado. Using that gentle spiral incline to lift, rather than lifting straight up and down. We use that gentle spiral. Imagining that energy spiraling up through you, from the bottom to the top, and then the same, like a drain plug, the water getting sucked down. And it's an illustration of the kind of force that you can create simply through relaxation. Water will take the path of least resistance. And if you open that small opening, it'll take the most effective way to rush the most water as quickly as possible. And it creates such force out of such relaxation. The water is so supple, it doesn't change as a molecule, it doesn't become harder and more forceful. Its force comes from the nature of relaxation and momentum. Hope you're enjoying Sue and Tess. Good to see you, Pam. Do the last one. We want to imagine we're like that autumn tree and we're going to hold up. It's the final leaf and it just drops and it slowly floats down to the ground. And we're going to scoop those leaves, lifting them, breathing in. And we're going to turn over, throwing them upwards, breathing out. We take a short breath in as we extend, and then we breathe out, spreading the leaves. In and out. Short breath in. Using that to control the long breath out. And even though the short breath and long breath are there, still trying to use the same amount of oxygen. Training our shorter breaths to draw in more, and our longer breaths to be well controlled. That way the shortness of breath and the effects that it causes will be greatly reduced, especially from stress. Do one more, scooping up those leaves, throwing them up in the air and spreading them out. We're going to use the momentum from this one to transfer through like a wave, tide sucking up underneath, drawing up and over the back, and then crashing down, settling. Once again, imagining the force of a wave caused by nothing but the gentle pulling and pushing of the tide and the relaxed nature of the water and the momentum, creating such force out of such small, efficient movement. Breathing in, breathing out. Once again, focusing on those shoulders, 100% down. As we come down, need to let them go. Take advantage of that short time you get to actually relax because they come back up. Couple more. Remember, we let the natural forces do most of the work. Gravity does the heavy lifting for us. We just hold the structure. Last one. And we're going to come back just below our belly button, and we're focusing on our abdominal breathing. And we're just going to focus on our abdominal breathing today. We won't hold our ball and kill our shoulders. We'll focus on the form a bit more. But I just want you to focus on that little balloon on the inside. And it's not going to want to blow up. It's one of those balloons that's super tight. You have to stretch it. You have to keep working at it. Eventually it'll get easier. But don't be discouraged if you can't feel that feeling of breathing in, pushing the belly out, breathing out, belly coming in. It doesn't have to be external. The balloon is on the inside. So feel it up here, stay relaxed and let the air trickle down. Don't force it. We don't want to blow up that balloon, and as a result, you can see the tension in my face. It's just too tense. you need to stay relaxed. We don't want to create that as a result of that. So keep that chest relaxed. If the balloon only wants to expand a little, that's fine. Just leave it there. Just try and make it gentle. Just try and make it slow. Ten more seconds. Gently let those arms go. Standing up straight, we're going to bring our weight to the right, transferring. Standing up straight through our checklist one last time. Connect, unlock, listen. Take a breath. Give yourself a good shake off. At this point, we'll take a small 5-minute break that you can use to go to the toilet, have a drink, take a small break if you need, if you're feeling quite shaky or unstable. I will go through a little bit of cloud hands during the break for those that want to continue and want to keep moving, but no pressure. We'll just focus on the standing still, but at the same time, I want you to feel the weight transfer from within. So I'll give a few tips and show you why. So once again, posture, posture, posture. Take your string. Connect yourself to the ceiling, unlock, and listen. From here, we can transfer our weight through to our right, allowing us to really enjoy these empty steps. From here, we can really enjoy the transition. It's not 50-50, 100%, 50-50. It's a gradual rise and transition in percentage and then back down again. And you want to enjoy each percentage of that, really micromanage that movement. So from here, we're remembering the small hip movement is what initiates the movement. If we think of our arms as cloth, because we're doing cloud hands, we're visualizing that we have those clouds, the sea of clouds in front of you. I want you to imagine you're standing on that mountaintop. You've got that sea of clouds in front of you, and behind it, you can just gently see the sun peeking over the top. And you want to reach that sun. So we're just trying to gently brush those clouds away. The kind of force you need to brush clouds away. Think about it. If you're too stiff, if you're too hard, you're just a stirring rod and you're just going to stir the clouds. We need to manipulate them gently. So our arms are like cloth. And if you think about trying to move these pieces of cloth attached to the side of you, then you're going to have to use your trunk and your legs to create the movement. And we can swing it up. So we're using those natural forces, imagining our arms as cloth, but at the same time, we're holding just enough structure. So we have that relaxed, but we hold the structure. So using the hips, slight turn, initiate the movement, coming up, dragging across. We use one hand initially, turning over, pressing down. So we do this exercise basically in our warm-up. In this direction. So once again, imagining your arms as cloth, gently swinging the trunk to move those pieces of cloth, manipulating the clouds, transitioning the weight to the left, Dragging the weight back across to the right and down again. Do a couple more. And come down. Placing this hand down, we're going to gently turn the hips this way, swinging this hand out. Dragging across, turning over, pressing down. Scooping, dragging, turning, pressing, scooping, lifting, dragging, turning, and pressing. Remember that weight transition to the left, back across to the right. One more. And we'll come down. Now the trick is both at the same time. So it sounds harder than it is. When we begin that movement, it's exactly the same. We turn one hip and we initiate the movement, coming up and across. As this hand comes across, this hand comes out. We turn, we transfer, turning over, one hand down, one hand up. Across, turn over, one hand down, one hand up. Across, turn over, one down, one up. So that's really all the movement is. And you can see I'm actually doing very little with my arms. Most of the movement comes from the trunk. But at this point, it looks very linear. It's across and then down and up. We just want to make that more circular. We want to write cursive. Isn't that right, Lisa? It just feels better. So we gently curve the edges. We link the characters together. And before you know it, you're writing beautiful cursive. And we're dragging that weight across. As you drag this across, I want you to feel that weight dragging across with it. Drag that weight across. Kind of feel yourself as a pendulum. Just tick, tock. What do you think? Can you feel that, Violet? Feel that weight pendulating through your body. That way, when we do the stepping version, it happens effortlessly. We use this pendulum, I lift, step. Pendulum. And it's almost like the weight transfer. And simply lifting my leg at the right time will walk me across the room. The natural forces are doing the work. I just have right control at the right times. So very good. Do a couple of still ones. The last one, I want you to imagine we pick up that ball off the surface of the water. We're going to bring it to our center. We're going to do one big open and close. Feel that sun explode, and then press it back in with the gravity. We're going to hold it out in front, and then using it to lift ourselves up nice and straight. And relax. Give yourself a good shake. That's our little 5-minute break. we'll get into our form now, which we intend to try and finish off. So there's a little bit to get through. We'll focus on going through the whole form one time, and then we will focus a little bit later on the stuff we've done lately. So by all means, if you've missed a lot of the form, if this is your first session, go back and watch the earlier videos to get a bigger rundown of the earlier movements. Today we will talk a lot about wild horse parts of its mane as well as the closing. So, posture. Stand tall, take your string, lift it up, unlock the knees, draw the line, listening. Transfer the weight through to the right leg, stepping out to the left, gently transferring back. And we use our sync here to initiate the movement, like cloud hands. Use this little to lead into the arms lifting, breathing in. Lower the ball. Draw it into the belly, breathing in, keeping the shoulders down. Pull them back if you have to, but don't let them come up. So pull that ball into the belly, draw up the sides, and then pushing the ball out the chest. Short breath in as we lift, and out as we center that ball. In as we inflate, and out as we press it closed. Now we're turning the ball to the side, so transfer your weight through to your right leg, turning the ball right hand over left. And then back to the other side, transferring the weight to the left leg, left hand over right. We're going to turn the right toe inwards to allow for the next step. Turn the ball one more time, lifting the heel and turning the buttocks and the heel at the same time. We draw in and we step out. Now it's important with this step not to overreach. Don't try and get that heel out as far as you can. Stay balanced. That's as far as you need to go. Just step out where it's comfortable, where you can have this leg empty, lift it, that is fine. From there, holding the ball, we pass the right hand over the left wrist, transferring the weight forward to a ward-off position. Left hand in front of the heart, right hand like it's playing basketball. From here, we extend a little further. Turn the hips. We don't extend with the arms, we extend with the trunk. So slight extension, open the hand, reach up with the right, and then dragging that weight back. The right hand's going to continue around, resting on the left wrist, and then we press forward, using this bubble, this circle here, to deflect. Think of those videos you see of people running at each other with a big gym ball in their hands, and they just deflect off of each other. That's the same effect we want. Imagine that bubble, you've got that deflective nature. It's important not to push off your center here. If we want to keep pushing, if we've pressed and we need to press further, we don't want to go off our center. We use this half step forward and we've gained that much distance. And then we relax back, turning, reaching, making the hook. Look at your hand as you bring it to the front, transferring the toe to the heel, turning over, and then transferring that weight forward, pressing. From here, once again, we want to press forward a little bit further. We don't want to go off our center. We use a half step and relax back and relax the hands. We sweep across. Left hand comes to the left hip, right hand comes to the center. As they reach this point, they swap. Right hand into the center, left hand circles around. As it gently passes your center, imagine fingers and toes, there's a string. We lift and place, and we're playing the lute. From here, we turn 45 and we transfer that weight. At the same time, we're holding the ball. Now it's important here, once again, to get your balance first. Don't bring this foot until this leg is ready. Eventually it'll become smooth. It's not a problem that you take your time at this point. Get your balance, then you can take this step. Then it can be controlled. From here, wild horse parts its mane. Left hand over the right wrist. Right fingers coming up to the nose. Left hand playing basketball. So that's the movement that we're going to focus on today, is this wild horse parts its mane. And I want you to use that name to give you a little bit of a clue as the kind of force that we're supposed to be using. So if we have that position where we're here and we're parting that mane, the mane itself is simply hair. There's no tension. Our hands, in this case, are the mane. We are the neck. So we're generating the energy through the neck and simply transferring it through to the hands. So whipping like the horse's mane. We're the neck, we generate that force and we whip it out with very little effort. From here, we come back, transfer, scoop under, holding that ball. And remember, take your time, get your balance, feel comfortable here. Once you feel comfortable, then you can bring that foot. Then it's controlled. One more time. This time right hand, passing over the left wrist, fingers to the nose, right hand playing basketball. That's wild horse parts its mane. So that same flick, effortless flick. Now the close, our final movement of our form. From here, we're going to take half step forward. At the same time, right hand comes up, left hand turns over. They meet at this point. We roll that weight back, and it's like we're rolling a big ball down to our middle chest. From here, transfer toes to heel, and then we're pressing forward. And think of this like a wave. The wave is coming forward, and then as the tide retreats, it sucks down. Lifting, we're going to point, back forwards, fingers, toes, connected, draw a big circle. Scooping up under, cross, step in, turn straight, turn over, flatten out, and we lift ourselves up. So obviously there's quite a bit to unpack in that movement itself. By all means, go back and watch it as many times as you can. These things don't happen instantly. I think Violet would agree. It's going to take time. You're going to have to make mistakes and not put any pressure on yourself. It will happen organically. That is the most we have time for today. Please do go back and watch the last sequence again. There is a lot of movements in there and there is a lot to unpack. Don't put any pressure on yourself, but by all means, try your best. Thank you very much.
Well done, Master Luke. Thank you. So did you get the parting of the mane? I'm sure you did with this fine instruction that you had today, but remember the videos are available in the video section of the Meridian Cultural Center's Facebook page and also on YouTube at the City of Marion's YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us this morning. A fabulous session, as always with Tai Chi, whether it's Fang and Luke or just Luke, it's always fabulous. So thank you for joining us today. Just a reminder that we are here next week on a Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with General Fitness with Kay, and back again next week for Tai Chi on Friday at 10 a.m. as well. And also reminding you that as of the 20th of July, Move It Marion is moving back to face-to-face classes. Tai Chi will still be available with Fang and Luke. It will be on Mondays at 10 a.m. from the Cove Sport and Recreation Center. So make sure you're on our mailing list so that you can find out information on where all the activities are going to be and how you go about registering for these activities. To get on the mailing list, if you're not already, you just need to contact me on 7420-6494, or you can email me at moveitmarion@marion.sa.gov.au. Have a fabulous weekend, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.